Welcome. My name is Judy Ashley, and I will be your host for this new program about a unique group in our area that is making an immediate, direct, and positive impact in our community. The mission of 100 Women Who Care Franklin County is to provide financial assistance to nonprofit organizations that have a strong presence in and serve residents of our county. In this segment, you will learn more about this group and how you can be involved. In future shows, we will highlight the nonprofit organizations who are recipients of donations from this group. Joining me on this segment to tell us more about 100 Women Who Care Franklin County are two women who are making a difference. I'd like to welcome Karyn Rocheleau and Trish Woodward.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Fabulous. So maybe we could start by you just telling me a little bit about yourselves.
All right. So I'm Karyn, and I was born and raised here in St. Albans, and I moved away after college. I spent roughly 40 years away, but about 6 years ago, I came back to live here, and I'm loving it, being back home. And my husband also moved up, and my mom now lives with me and 3 dogs.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about me, I guess.
Fabulous. And Trish?
Oh, I too live in St. Albans, have been here for 14 years now, and my grandchildren went to school here. My last one is about to graduate. In fact, it's his birthday today, so special day all around for 101 women in the family.
Fabulous.
So, and it suddenly occurred to me that I have been involved in fundraising since 1956.
Wow.
At university with a guy called Graham, who had this idea of selling yo-yos. And we were always known as the Yo-Yo Committee.
That sounds like a fun committee.
It was. 10,000 yo-yos is a lot of yo-yos.
Well, that's great.
That's fabulous. So Karyn, can you tell us a little bit about how you first heard about 100 Women Who Care?
Interesting. So I used to live in Keene, New Hampshire, and we still have a house there. So I was back visiting with some old friends, and they were telling me about this philanthropic group called 100 Women Who Care. And immediately I got really excited because it meets infrequently, doesn't meet a lot, doesn't require a lot of time, and all the money raised goes directly to the charity, and the charities stay within their county. So I don't know, it was really exciting because it's such a simple concept, and it also included a lot of good social, meeting other women as well, and the power of women working together to make a huge difference for their community. So I heard from friends.
Great. And what about where this all started, Tricia? Where does 100 Women Who Care come from? I mean, who started it?
Well, you know, it goes back to 2006. And there was a gal in Jackson, Michigan. Her name was Karen Dunnigan. And she actually was mayor of the town. And she was at a committee meeting, I think, about child health care. And someone mentioned that there was a problem, namely that mothers didn't have cribs or cots to take their children home in. And actually a couple of kids had smothered in kind of cardboard boxes. And she was absolutely appalled and figured, there's got to be a way of doing this. So how many do you need? They said, well, 300. So she decided to do something about it. And she was in a good position, and she did. And she had 100 women. And they made their first donation of, I think it was 12,500. And then it took off. I mean, if you go on the website, about 100 women who care or 100 people who care, there are chapters throughout the whole of the country, in fact, throughout the world now. But on some websites, there's nothing in Vermont. So that's where Karyn came in, and she started it. She mentioned it to some of us, and it seemed like, wow, you know, you can do this. You're not getting emails every week, and you actually have the pleasure of writing the check, knowing there's no pass-through, no overhead, and then the fun we all had when we took the checks
Exactly.
and delivered them. Yeah,
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. but-
Yep.
So this really all started with just one woman.
with this one woman. And when she died in 2014, and she had, I think, 4 or 5 sisters who took over, and they carried on. They developed the chapters in Michigan, and they gradually spread throughout the country. And in fact, now there is an alliance, so that they actually have
Yeah,
a
this-
convention, and they're doing it in Scottsdale, Arizona in November, I think. November
Right.
2019.
And it's
Yeah.
called 100 Who Care Alliance, right? That's the
Yeah,
main.
the alliance,
So if
yes,
somebody
yeah.
Google that.
But you don't have to belong to it.
Right.
I mean, I think the important thing is they trust to people's integrity, okay, and what they're doing, and what your situation is. I mean, some people give 200, other people give 100, some people 50. It depends, like, where things are at.
So you heard about this in Keene,
Correct?
found out there wasn't a chapter in Vermont,
Correct.
came back to Franklin County and said, we need to start a chapter.
Exactly.
Now, I do know that we are registered on 100 Who Care Alliance website as the only chapter in Vermont,
Yes, we are.
which is fabulous.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes.
We have had a little bit of interest from some other places, but yeah, it's very exciting. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how did our local chapter get started?
Well, interestingly enough, so when I came home and did some research, Googled it, of course, looked at all the FAQs and the history and how it all worked, and obviously asked some friends how it worked for them, I contacted my friend Trisha, who she and I do a lot of volunteer work together because I'm retired and so isn't she.
Yeah.
And we started to talk about it. She loved the idea, and I happened to be interviewing and for a board position somewhere, and I met you, Judy, and you were interested. And then we thought, well, we need 2 more people to be on a steering committee. So we thought we need a good lawyer. So we contacted Jackie Hood, and we need a good businesswoman. So we contacted Annette Hanna, and boom, last November we had our first meeting, and off we went towards thinking about 100 women that we could bring together in a group and start working on how do we add value and how does it all work. Made our bylaws, thought about a website, which of course you developed and did a fabulous job at. So,
And we're on Facebook,
and we're on Facebook.
right?
Exactly.
That's great. So tell me a little bit more for people who might be interested about the meetings themselves. How often do you meet and all that kind of stuff?
So the meetings are simple. They're an hour only, and we time everything, by the way. Trisha's typically our timer, and we have every minute timed out. So you can come early, usually 5:30 to 6. We have a little social hour.
And that's a nice social hour.
Absolutely. And it's interesting how many people come a little after 5 even, because obviously we're there early. We typically have it at the hospital. They've been very gracious in letting us use their large room there. And they also provide us snacks, which is also really nice. From there, we meet I'll tell you a little bit how we meet, then I'll tell you a little about the meetings.
Right.
So we meet only 4 times a year. So once a quarter. The next meeting is August 21st. So
What time?
it's at 6 o'clock. Can be there at 5:30 if you'd like for the social hour. So 5:30 to 6 social. 6 o'clock starts the meeting. You will be out of there by 7, if not a little earlier. So do you want to know a little bit how the meetings work? Or that's another question.
Yeah, and just
Yeah,
where we
go
meet
ahead.
in the
Yeah, that's
Green
fine.
Mountain Room.
Green Mountain Room.
At the conference center
Yeah.
at the hospital. Yeah.
Yep.
At Northwestern Medical Center, yeah. Yeah, so you're being very exact, and there's a reason for that.
Right.
I remember when we started, I talked to somebody in the community, another woman, about it, and said the meeting is 6 to 7, and we'll be out of there. And that person, who's been in a lot of meetings for a lot of different things, said, "Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it," because mostly meetings always run over.
That's right.
So, but that's part of the charm of this whole effort.
Exactly.
Right. So, I want to talk a little bit about the meeting.
Right. So all the meetings throughout the country kind of run the same. They're all an hour. And the idea is most women don't have more than an hour, particularly if they're working. And they'd like to get the maximum information in the minimum number of time. So how the meeting works is the first 15 minutes or so, we give people updates. Again, we reemphasize how many members we have, how much money has been collected for various charities. But how it really works is prior to the meeting, a week before the meeting, we ask the members to make nominations of who they would like to fund and who they'd like to present at the meeting. So it's a 501c3. And we do have a form. There's a form online that you fill out. It's very easy.
Just let me just stop you for a second.
Okay.
The charity's 501c3.
The charity?
100 Women Who Care is not
No,
a
oh
501c3.
no,
Okay.
no.
I just wanted to be clear.
No, very clear. Yes,
Yeah.
good. Yes,
Yeah.
it's the charity that has to be a 501c3. All of them, no check is written ever to the 100 Women Who Care, ever. It's always written direct to the charity. So it's always just that pass through to the charity. So what happens is we take all those nominations that people have done in advance. We vet them all. We make sure they're 501c3s, make sure they're within Franklin County. Once we've done that and the meeting's started, we pass a hat, you might say, with the names in it. And we have one of the members pick the first hat. There are 3 presentations each night. The presentations, a member does the presentation, not the director of the agency or anyone within the agency typically. The first one that picks has 5 minutes to talk about a very specific mission that they would like to spend the money. So you think about 100 women giving $50 each, $5,000. So they're talking about where that money will be spent. So they have the 5 minutes. Afterwards, and we give them cues when their time is up. And then they have 5 minutes for questions. So it's 10 minutes in all. You have to present, have questions. There are 3 agencies that get picked. And after,
one at a time.
One at a time. And one doesn't know who the second one will be. And there's a fairly large pot now to choose from. After that, the membership votes on who they would like to give their money to. After the voting, we pick it all up. 2 of the steering committee members count the ballots to see who won. While that's going on, we give the charity who was the recipient of the money last time, which happened to be Franklin County Home Health, we'll say, because it was them. They'll have 10 minutes to do a presentation of where the money was spent. When that's finished, we'll announce who the winner is. The women write their checks. Typically, we have a door prize, some sort, and then they're free to leave. We pick the checks up.
Fabulous. So just to be clear, the voting is for the members that attend the meeting.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
If you don't attend the meeting, you don't get a vote.
You don't, correct.
Okay.
But we
just want to be.
You have made a commitment to
But you've made a
support.
commitment to give your $50 to the charity that's selected.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
correct.
So any woman can join, right? They just have to be willing to make a commitment for $50 4 times a year
Correct.
to the charities that are selected.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think that's really important that anyone can join.
Right.
That, go to the website, there's a
Right.
form.
You
Yeah.
don't have to be
Or
nominated.
just come to a meeting.
Just come to the meeting. Just show up and we'll help you to register.
So the next meeting is August 21st, which
Correct.
is a Tuesday,
Correct.
starting at 5:30 at Northwestern Medical Center.
Correct.
And if you're not a member right now, you can go to our website, and it's a very simple form, just your name and your email, and you can become a member. Or you can show up at the meeting, and we have forms there. So that's,
I think on the form, our email is there.
Yes.
So if anyone has a question, they can email.
and on
Yeah.
the website we have, which we'll be showing at the end of the show, they can contact us through that as well.
Yep.
So at our next segment, we will introduce you to one of our local nonprofits who is awarded funds through 100 Women Who Care Franklin County. We'll learn more about that charity and how they'll use the funds that they've received. So if you're committed to helping others in our community, but stretched for time, you want 100% of your donations to go directly to the local charity. You want to be part of a powerful group of like-minded women making an immediate, direct, and positive impact. And you want to learn more about many worthy service organizations in Franklin County, then we urge you to join 100 Women Who Care Franklin County. Thank you for joining us today.